turns out the reason why past relationships end up being burdensome to us is mainly because of what we've talked in the past couple of weeks. We've talked about how when we are in relationships, when we engage in sexual activities, when we are drawing closer to this other person, we cross many boundaries. We cross physical boundaries. We cross emotional boundaries, and we cross spiritual boundaries. And these boundaries, when they're crossed, get us into a place where we build a lot of tie, where we build a lot of soul tie with the person we are in relationship with. And when we are not in that relationship anymore, when things didn't go as expected, or you've been just wanting to break that relationship, finally you manage to get out of that, you realize that there are all these soul ties that are still dragging on your heart. And I want to illustrate this with an illustration that I thought might convey the point. So imagine that this duct tape, one of Americans' common friend in time of need, is like our soul. It has this sticky surface and then a non-sticky surface. And imagine this duct tape is like our soul. And God has created us with many proclivities, many desires, things that we naturally find ourselves attracted to. And if I take this duct tape and stick it to any surface, it would stick to it. And it's kind of hard to remove it back, but eventually we will be able to. For example, imagine this is our soul, and you give your soul entertainment. It likes it. It likes to stick to entertainment. Imagine this is your soul, and maybe, you give it the Bible. Does it like to stick to it? Maybe not. But there are some things we like to stick to quite well, and maybe there are some things we don't stick to quite well. Some things that are good for us, and some things maybe that are not good for us. But imagine that you have another soul, another person that you find attracted to, another person that you enter into a relationship with. And then when you cross those physical boundaries, when you cross those emotional boundaries, when you cross those spiritual boundaries, you take two sticky surfaces of a duct tape and you stick them together. Well, so far so good when the relationship is intact. It is strong together. But imagine what happens when you try to break this relationship apart. When you try to tear these souls apart, it is hard. It doesn't come out. It's hard to really take these two tapes apart. And if you try very hard, you end up tearing the tapes. And that's what happens to our soul. We've crossed all these boundaries and we've built these soul ties that every time you're in a relationship and you come out of it, you're in a relationship, you come out of it, what is left with you are patches that you pick up from one relationship that you are carrying on to the next relationship, or patches that you have left with this other person that she's going to carry on to another relationship. And that's why these things weigh so heavy on our heart.